could have stumbled up on something that was going on that shouldn't have been going on. And Dad was never the type of person that would have backed down. One of the clearest things that I'll always remember when I heard it come over the CB that they had found a four-wheeler. And at that point, my heart just like was pounding through my chest. It was about a mile off of his property, parked in an abandoned cabin up a hill, kind of stashed it, in a weird spot.
The switch was left on, the starting switch, so we don't know what happened. I think about this case all the time. At least what happened to him, to try to figure out the story of what went on.
Hey folks, I hope you all are doing great and having an awesome weekend. I am Ira, your host, and I thank you for joining me for episode 4 of the DarkSide. Today we'll be discussing another bizarre disappearance, once again originating from Blount County, Tennessee. Before jumping into the story, I need to update you on the status of Austin Bohanan. The young 18-year-old, which we reported on earlier this week, went missing from the Great Smoky Mountains National Park on Friday, August the 11th. After nearly 2 weeks, Austin emerged from the park alive. I'd love to go into details about his experience, but there's not a lot of information readily available at the moment. I will say that I'm in the process of coordinating an interview of sorts with Austin. Stay tuned for details. Also, if you have a case you wish for us to review, please contact me. Feel free to message directly via Facebook, Twitter, the comment section below, etc. I firmly believe the most interesting of situations and stories will originate from you. Anyways, without any further delay, let's talk about the disappearance of Michael Hearon. For nearly 9 years, authorities in Tennessee have been investigating the disappearance of a 52-year-old father who vanished without a trace. Michael Hearon's family described him as an easygoing and fun-loving individual. Born and raised in East Tennessee, the third-generation homebuilder, like my father actually, had everything he wanted in life. Unfortunately, that life took an unexpected turn in 2008. On Saturday, August the 23rd, 2008, Michael called his sons, Matt and Andy, and informed them that he was leaving his condo in Maryville, Tennessee to mow the lawn at a house he owned in nearby Happy Valley, which is a community located in Blount County, Tennessee, just outside of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Not long after placing the call, he went by Andy's house to pick up his lawnmower. Andy then watched his father drive away onto Highway 321, not realizing that it would be the last time he would see him. Friends who went to look at their cattle the next day noticed Mike's truck parked at the end of his driveway with its windows down and the trailer containing the mower still attached. Apparently, Mike would normally park his vehicle at the end of the road to load and unload the trailer. Mike's parents, who live at an adjacent property, went to his house the next day but did not go inside or knock on the door. On Monday morning, Mike's parents returned to his house only to discover that his truck was still parked in the same spot. Concerned, they entered the house but found no signs of him. A search of the surrounding property ensued but failed to produce any trace of Michael. His keys, cell phone, money clip, which contained credit cards, his license, and cash, and a gun were found inside the truck. When Matt and Andy arrived at the house, they discovered that one of their father's four-wheelers was missing. His neighbors informed the family that Hearon had been seen riding his ATV on the road near his house on the day that he disappeared. In fact, they waved at one another as he drove by. Worried that he could have been involved in an accident, his sons spent the remainder of the day searching all 75 acres of their father's property. When they were unable to locate him or his ATV, they contacted the Blount County Sheriff's Department and filed a missing person report. According to investigators, they conducted an extensive 2-week search in the area. Nearly every agency available was out looking for Michael. This included the National Park Service, Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, the Sheriff's Office, and a specialized team that does recovery operations in mountainous terrain. Bloodhounds were also brought out, but there was a 2 to 3 day period during the search where it rained heavily, making it hard for the dogs to pick up a scent. 3 days following his disappearance, the first and only clue in the case was found, when Mike's ATV was located roughly a mile from his house on Bell Branch Road in a series of bushes. It was not wrecked or damaged. Speaking of physical evidence at the scene, or the lack thereof, outside of the four-wheeler parked in the bushes and, strangely enough, with its ignition key still in the on position, no footprints, no bits of torn clothing, no obvious trails through the undergrowth, no blood, tissue, or bones were found. In fact, nothing indicated Michael Hearon had even been there, much less pointed to a direction of departure. The ATV was in a rural area near a cabin. It was off the road about 25 or 30 yards. The cabin was searched along with surrounding area, but no additional clues were uncovered. Investigators in the family are on record stating that they personally do not feel as though he had put the four-wheeler there, nor would he back it into some bushes. It was not on property Hearon owned or on a road that he frequented. Throughout the course of the investigation, nearly 200 people were interviewed, but they were unable to find any indication that anyone had a grudge against him. To this day, there is no concrete evidence suggesting what happened to Mike. Officials have stated, "We have no evidence pointing toward a criminal act, and that is our biggest problem." It is a very bizarre situation. You always second guess yourself, especially in a case like this. There are so many possibilities to go with, and your mind is always moving and wondering, thinking about what you have done and what you could have done differently. While researching this case, I happened across some interesting formalizations, well, more like conspiracy theories really. For instance, one in particular alluded to law enforcement knowing the location of Michael Hearon's body. Apparently, they believe Michael went missing in a suspected drug deal gone bad, or by stumbling across an embedded pot farm, which according to some individuals is a popular operation by Tennessee sheriffs. For the record, I do not subscribe to the belief that law enforcement has done anything wrong or is involved criminally in any way. That certainly is an interesting take on the case, and I believe it is worth mentioning. Also worth mentioning is the correlation to the missing 411 cases, in that he disappeared essentially in his backyard, without a trace, just outside of an identified cluster region near the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Meanwhile, Hearon's family continues to seek out answers to the mystery of his disappearance. A statement by his family truly describes Mike and their feelings concerning his disappearance. They have said, "There are so many things I think of when I think of Mike, and I am so thankful that they are good things. But I do feel our family has been cheated out of many memories we should have with him." Mike talked about looking forward to becoming a grandfather and things he wanted to do with his future grandchildren. It breaks my heart to think of how he would have been with grandkids and what he would have brought to their lives. It's just not fair or right. Our family wonders every day what has happened to him, and we miss him very much. It is something we will continue to struggle with, but we are not giving up hope. We know someone out there knows something about his whereabouts, and we hope that they will come forward with this information. Michael Edwin Hearon is described as a white male, 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing 185 pounds, with dark brown hair and hazel eyes. He was last seen wearing khaki cargo shorts, a faded red t-shirt, and sandals. A $35,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to finding out what happened to him. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Blount County Sheriff's Department at 865-273-5001, or you can contact a 24-hour crime hotline at 865-273-5233. Thanks for tuning in. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation and the disappearance of Michael Hearon. Make certain to like and subscribe, and do me a favor and share this video while you are at it. It really helps, folks. Make certain to follow us via Twitter and Facebook. Links are in the description.